It's time for our In the Turn interview, this week sponsored by J&C Automotive, located at 740 Brockton Ave in Abington. Your place for tune-ups, oil changes, tire rotations, and brakes. It's J&C Automotive. Joining us, it is race week up in Loudon, New Hampshire. The Crayon 301, Ambetter Health 200, and Mohegan Sun 100. We are excited to have, for the first time on this show, but the third year in a row on WATD, the Executive Vice President and General Manager of New Hampshire Motor Speedway, David McGrath, joins us. Dave, welcome to the show. Looking forward to race weekend and looking forward to our conversation here tonight.
Yeah, well, thanks, Miles. On with you. Appreciate you having me. Yeah, we're super excited up here and getting ready for a great weekend of racing.
So let's jump right into things. Obviously, a couple of similar but new sponsors, Crayon and Ambetter Health, basically flipped sponsorships. Crayon is now sponsoring the Cup race. Ambetter Health is sponsoring the Xfinity race. Talk to us about the sponsorship for this weekend.
Yeah, well, we've got a great relationship with both of those companies. We started with Ambetter on the Saturday race. They started a few years ago, Miles, with us, and they really enjoyed their time. The demo of the NASCAR fan fits really, really well with Ambetter Health. So to have them on the Cup Series last year and then move over to the Xfinity Series this year is great, and it just shows the value that we bring as a team up here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for our partners. And certainly Crayon, same story. They're an IT optimization consulting company, and they last year on the Xfinity, and they too had such a great experience and a lot of B2B play when they're talking to other businesses that work in the NASCAR spectrum. They saw the value, Miles, of coming back and being the Cup sponsor for now this year's Crayon 301 on Sunday. So it's been fun to watch them. It's been fun to see them, obviously have great success with their partnerships with Speedway Motorsports and the team here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Excellent. So, of course, also back this year is going to be the Friday night dirt duels, and we've got the great entertainment that was with us last year, Shot of Poison. They are playing Friday night at the dirt track, and then Dirty Deeds is playing Saturday night again as well, correct?
Yes, that is correct. And I will tell you, though, Miles, a Friday night dirt duels is it's become kind of thing, right? I mean, you've got these fans that have had a full day of on-track activity at the big track with qualifying and whatnot, to move over to this little quarter-mile bull ring that we built, flat track, dirt track down at the south end of the property. They get to see great racing with Sprint Cars of New England, Granite State Mini Sprints, and then the Dirt Midget Association. And then you're right. After that, there's a fireworks show when all the racing festivities have concluded. And then kick off a wonderful, tribute band to Poison with Shot of Poison. So all you Bret Michael fans, come on out and watch that and have a lot of fun. But it's a great night, and it's kind of cool to attach that to all the campers and have them just come right down to the south end of the property and see some great racing.
Excellent. Of course, Ben and Tim are here in studio with us, so they're going to be a couple of different voices you hear, but Ben has a good question for you.
Hey, Dave, it's Ben. I would love to know if you have any opportunity to be a fan throughout the weekend. Do you get to chill with the fans and go watch some racing, or is it straight business mode for you?
No, you know what? I get to do a little bit of both, but I go out of my way, Ben, to make sure that I can spend some time watching. I am, and I want obviously the listeners to understand, I'm a fan of this sport, right? I love racing, and so I do try to escape the responsibilities, if you will, of meetings and dinners and try to see some of the racing. But I will be there at the flat track on Friday night. Particularly enjoy watching and interacting, and I do try to get out and see folks. And I run into fans that I've known for years, watch their kids grow up, and it's always funny how they find me because I never know where I'll be, but we always kind of connect, which is always a lot of fun. But I do enjoy speaking with the fans. I do enjoy learning from them and telling, and believe me, they're not afraid to tell us what we can do to do things better and different, and we listen and we try to make those adjustments. But I do try to balance. It's a great question, and I do try to get out, see as much as I can, and then still obviously handle my general manager responsibilities.
Hey Dave, Tim here. 1, 2. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Hey, Dave, Tim here. This is kind of a follow-up question to that. I know you're busy making sure everything goes right over the weekend. What's your favorite part of the whole weekend? Do you have one particular favorite?
Boy, that's a really tough question. I think my favorite is Sunday morning, and the reason I say Sunday morning is, during practice and qualifying and things that go on Saturday with doubleheader racing with the Mohegan Sun 100 modified race and then the Ambetter Health 200 Xfinity. This even on the Friday night dirt deals, there's so much energy and action. It's kind of hard to keep you focused on one thing. But Sunday morning lends itself as a kind of a quiet morning. I get to kind of go into the garage, have last minute conversations with folks that I want to connect with. There isn't anything on the track. It's quiet. Until we get ready to green flag the Crayon 301. I get my driver meeting opportunity. I get to see some of the industry folks from NASCAR and drivers that I've known through the years. So I really enjoy that whole Sunday kind of a vibe. It is more low key until, of course, when the green flag falls, I should say, and then the race. To say anything, but up until that point, I think Sunday would be my favorite kind of day of the weekend, Sunday morning.
The calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So I remember us discussing last year a couple of the new amenities that were coming in 2022, and that included the Groove, the Elm City Party Bike, Carnival Games, the DJs, and really, I mean, you guys just knocked it out of the park last year. A lot of those are back this year, which is really cool. But we've got some new things coming this year. New, but I guess you could say vintage. How about John Roberts and Kenny Wallace reuniting for Race Day Live on the fan stage, and a conversation between the New England Legends with Jose Castillo and Mamba Smith. Can you tell us a little bit about both of those for the folks who may not know too much about either or?
Sure. Well, starting, I will, before I get into the particulars, there's always great racing, right? Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, but we try to also program a lot of fun throughout the entire week, and starting, Wednesday, really miles right through Sunday, there's an event or there's programming occurring. And with John Roberts and Kenny Wallace, it's no different, right? We're so, and for those of you that have never known, especially Kenny Wallace, he is a energy guy that brings great passion of our sport. Certainly, as we know, his brother Rusty won the inaugural race here many years ago. But Kenny is a lot of fun. He's an energetic guy, and John Roberts is such a good balance to Kenny. John is more reserved, but very great with the fans. And to have, this race day live on what we're calling the Magic Mile stage in the fan zone, it kind of back, the speed stage from a few years ago that fans really interacted well with. And so we're super excited to have Kenny and John here. And that'll be on Sunday at 11 a.m., and so for fans to kind of take part in that. The New England's Legend, on the other hand, is going to occur on Saturday, and what that is, Miles, is just Jose and Mamba kind of talking with legends around New England, whether it's, Dave Moody, from Barrie, Vermont, and certainly we all know his voice on the years of announcing and what he does on Sirius XM. NASCAR radio. He'll be there, and Andy Santier and Bobby and Beaver Dragon will be there, and Dave Dion. So there'll be a lot of New England legends that I think a lot of great stories will be told, and that fans can really, kind of listen to, local racers talking about what it means to be a racer in New England. And that's a cool thing, because I believe we have the best race fans in the entire country. We're passionate about our sport, and these folks come from great distances to enjoy all the programming that we put together. So that's new, and I think that's going to be really exciting. And then also in the fan zone this year, we've got the Canine Stars Stunt Dog Show will be here for the first time, which is always a lot of fun in a fan. I've seen other fans interact at other speedways around the country, and I was adamant that we bring them to New Hampshire for this year, and I think fans are going to enjoy that as well.
Excellent.
How does one acquire a 15 to 20 pound lobster? Is that in your wheelhouse, or is that not on your responsibility list?
Yeah, everything is my responsibility. At the end of the day, I always tell the team, "Don't worry, I'll be the one that'll take responsibility." But luckily, I'm not the guy out fishing for that. We handle that through our friends down at McGrath Seafood and Lobster and Seafood and Steak, I should say. Street. And they actually get that from one of their vendors, and it's usually caught somewhere in international waters, believe it or not, because it's such a big lobster. And then, of course, when it's all said and done, when we present that to the winner in Victory Lane, we then have that sent out to a taxidermist and gets all put back together and created into a permanent trophy. After all the lobster meat has been harvested out of the animal, we then take it and we put together and we present it back. So I'll be giving Christopher Bell back his lobster that he reluctantly took from me. He was not a big fan of that when I handed it to him in Victory Lane, but I give it back to him when this weekend when we get together over the and we'll do a photo op and whatnot.
Awesome.
I do believe last year I was passing by as you presented the lobster rolls to Eric Almirola from his 2021 victory. So certainly a very unique and very special trophy presentation that goes on up at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So I do tip my cap there to you, Dave.
Yeah, it is unique, and we were out yesterday with Michael Flanagan and his crew from Seaview Lobster Company in Kittery, Maine, and we had Ryan Priest with us, and we went out and had Ryan hauling some lobster traps, and it is an iconic New England fishery, and it's an important revenue generator for across a lot of New England states, certainly Maine, Mass, Connecticut, and certainly New Hampshire. It's very important, and so to kind of tie that into a NASCAR weekend, yeah, it's iconic, and it certainly fits the bill across multiple states in the New England area. And it's always a lot of fun to do it because it's sometimes there are drivers who eagerly take that lobster, and there are some that don't want me to hand it to them at all, and it's always a lot of fun to hipster up in Victory Lane, and certainly the Crayon 301 this year will do it again.
So we've had some exciting finishes there the last couple of years. Of course, 2022 Christopher Bell won last year after beating Martin Truex Jr., who swept the first two stages. Eric Almirola battled darkness and a little bit of a short finish in 2021, and Brad Keselowski dominated in the rescheduled 2020 race. What do you expect this weekend on track?
I'm kind of a dogfight, Miles. I mean, I don't think any one driver comes to New Hampshire Motor Speedway and just absolutely year after year after year is in Victory Lane. And we've seen that at other speedways. I always remember Jimmy Johnson and his consistencies at Texas. That just doesn't happen at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It's a tougher track. Right now, it's hard to say. I kind of feel like I always believe that Toyotas do here, and they seem to be. If there's a consistent manufacturer, they've shown that in the past. However, in the last couple of years, it's been a Toyota last year, a Ford the year before, and a Ford the year before that. So hard to say, but it's always a good battle here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and. I just believe in my gut, though, that I don't know why, but I think Martin Truex has got a leg up. I think he's going to do well this year, and I think he's never won here, and he wants to win here in the series, and I think that he may be somebody to keep an eye on.
Interesting. I'm jotting that one down as we make our picks on the other side of our conversation with Dave McGrath here. Dave, so the important question, obviously, I'm heading out of here shortly after this interview. I will be heading up 93 towards New Hampshire. Ben's heading up this weekend. Tim's heading up Sunday.
No, I'm heading up Friday.
Oh
yeah.
All right.
I'm there for the whole weekend.
There we go. So folks want to join all of us and you up at the track this weekend. How do they do that?
Just the easiest thing for fans to do is go to nhms.com, Miles, and there they will find all the ticketing, all the pricing for Sunday, for Saturday, for Friday. All the tickets that they need, and a really cool thing I want listeners to know too is, and for Mom and Dad in particular, kids 12 and under are free on Friday, free on Saturday, and $10 on Sunday. So, and parking is free, and heck, you can bring in your own food and drink into the grandstands with you. So we try to make it an entertaining and a really economical, family fun event. So I would tell you, nhms.com, all the information is there, including all the scheduling and all the things that we've all talked about. It's all listed right there on the website.
Excellent. We have been chatting with Dave McGrath, the Executive Vice President and General Manager of New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I'm a little bit jealous. I hear the groove is hopping tonight, bingo night. I'm going to get up there as soon as possible, of course, driving the speed limit. Dave, looking forward to seeing you this weekend. As always, an incredible job put on by you and the staff of New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Our one and only trip to New England and New Hampshire this season. So looking forward to it, and we will talk to you this weekend. Thank you again for the time, and we're going to step aside, take a break, mention the sponsors after, right here on 95.9 WATD.